Well, the strategy is when something comes on the buy list, we're putting it on there as a suggestion for the next 8 to 10 years. So many times, things can go down in the short term for whatever reason. Now, if we want you to sell it, we're going to issue a sell alert. So if for some reason you think, I wouldn't do it just because positions are down, that's not a good thing to do unless you think that there's good reason that they're down and that there's an alternative that you might be able to recover faster in a different position. But the most important thing that you're striving to do is to balance your asset allocation. So try really hard not to get overweighted in any particular sector, even if there's a lot of excitement about it, even if it's done well. I think that's what people tend to gravitate towards is, I never want to sell things that have done good, and I always want to sell the things that have done bad. But if you look back at the history, if you've been a partner for a long time and you have positions that there's certain times that certain companies do well and certain times that other companies do well. But I think over time, what happens is that they all tend to, well, not all of them, but in a good portfolio, you're going to see some growth over the long term. You might see pullbacks in the meantime. But the thing that you need to focus on more than whether they're up or down is, do you have good diversification? And has there a really compelling reason to sell them? Is their business strategy gone off the deep end? Is their management missing the mark in so many different ways? Is there certain things that the government is doing that makes their industry really hard to compete in or really hard to succeed in? Those are the reasons that you would consider selling a company. I want our buy list to be larger. And that doesn't mean that every time something comes onto the buy list that every partner needs to buy it. There are things that come onto the buy list that are appropriate for someone that's really growth oriented, someone in their 20s and 30s and 40s. There are other things that are more appropriate for people who are already in retirement. So as a do-it-yourselfer, you have to look through that list and know what your goal is and know that not everything on the list is going to be the most appropriate thing for you, and just go through and pick and choose the things that are. So if something does come onto the buy list that you think is more appropriate for your strategy, then you could sell something that you think is less appropriate, not something that is just because it is down.